All right, just give me a signal.
I see record on my screen.
Yeah, I see it too.
Yeah, that's recording, and
I see we're on Facebook.
It's coming up. But you can go ahead, Charles.
All right. Welcome to the Just Be a Man podcast, where we offer commentary from a man's perspective. Be sure to check us out on our various social media platforms. Guys, we are on Facebook, we on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You can go to our website, which is www.jbam.com, etc. So be sure to check us out. Tonight, we have our usual suspects -1. Our boy Wayne is handling some family business. But in the meantime, we have our boy Chuck.
You.
Stefan.
Yes, sir.
Make Boogie.
How much is 80,000 pennies?
All right. And your boy Charles, yours truly. So before we jump into our topics for this evening, because we do have a couple of things we want to talk about, we are going to hear a word from our sponsor. So Chuck, take it away. Chuck, you are on mute, brother. You can't take it away on mute.
Okay, and I'm back.
And when you said a word from our sponsor, I thought the pastor was getting ready to jump in.
As you all know, Father's Day is right around the corner. And what better way to take care of your father than helping him to take care of his man jewels?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, Father's Day is just around the corner, and you probably need a gift for a hairy dad. Make your dad proud this year and get him and yourself the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the Lawnmower 4.0. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code JBAMScaped. JBAMScaped. All right. And you can get that promo code here. It'll be, I guess, in a link after the show. You can also go to our website, www.jbam.com, correct?
That's right.
Okay, just want to make sure.
jbampod.com.
There you go. I thought something was off. All right,
yeah.
I do that every time. jbampod, all one word, .com. All right. Manscaped is the only man's brand dedicated to below the waist grooming and just launched their Lawnmower 4.0. Imagine surprising your dad with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized body hair trimmer that says, "Your balls will thank you" on the box. That's advertising right there. That's a statement. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You might ask, how is this Lawnmower 4.0 different from other trimmers? I mean, I ask myself that all the time. All right, so this upgraded trimmer includes a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock. This is a great feature if you're a father or yourself do a lot of traveling. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. You can now shave your balls in the dark.
That's important. It's important.
Who's shaving their balls in the dark?
Hey man, you may need an emergency shave or something. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that could be part of foreplay. Hey, don't judge people. That could be part of foreplay.
Instead of crying in the dark, you know, hey, shave your balls in the dark.
Shave in the dark. The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Yeah, you heard that right. Wireless charging ball trimmers are a real thing now. It is what it is. Yes, sir. Have you seen a nose bush sticking out of your dad's nose? You know,
Yeah.
come on, come on, man.
I used to have them. I
Yeah.
used to. You see how clear they are now. I'm good.
Oh, well, that must be thanks to the weed whacker.
Yes, sir.
The Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer is the best nose hair trimmer on the market and the perfect gift for your pops. They also have other amazing products like cologne, crop mop, ball wipes, crop reviver, ball toner, and crop preserver and ball deodorant. Come on, man. Freshen up your man parts, man. Come on, you can't.
Gotta smell good, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, the
All right.
thing about this, you don't know who coming to dinner, right?
That's right. For all the females listening, you'll appreciate this part. Seriously, all right. Manscaped products are cruelty-free, paraben-free, dye-free, and vegan. Okay.
Okay.
It's vegan, which means I guess it's edible. I love this company. All right. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code JBAMSCAPED. All right. And you can get that at www.jbampod, or again, you can probably click the link below. Get your dad a gift you know they will use. All right.
I appreciate you, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Chuck.
And of course, speaking of dads, we are talking about Father's Day this evening. However, before we get there, today history was made, guys.
Yes, sir.
President Biden, Vice President Harris basically signed a law making Juneteenth a federal holiday, and it takes place immediately, guys.
Tomorrow.
Which means tomorrow I'm off. All of us are.
Right.
So, this bill, it faced some slight opposition in the House earlier this week, but it passed unanimously through the Senate. And I just want to get your thoughts on it, guys. What do you think?
Well, let me say this first. To any employer out there, don't ask your black workers coming tomorrow. You might get cussed out. I'm just saying. Do not ask. Don't make the mistake and say, "Hey, we're a little short-handed today. I need you to come in." And okay, that's not gonna go well.
You need to ask Brad. Ask Brad.
Hey, Philip. Call Philip. Philip is usually, hey, no problem. All right. Do not call your black employees. All right. So now, what do I think about it? I think it's actually fantastic. I think it's overdue.
Mhm.
I will say this: don't get distracted by the shiny object. Meaning Juneteenth. I'm so glad that they've passed this, but our community needs other more substantive passes. Like a crime bill and things like that, or anti-hate, like the Asians got, stuff like that. However,
Mhm.
this is still great. It's a step in the right direction. It's beyond time that our ancestors have been recognized for their, it's just, I just, why did it take so long? I just, I know the answer to that, but it's just long overdue. So I'm glad it happened.
Oh yeah, no doubt. What say you guys? Mike?
I
Stefan?
say, I think it's a great thing, for the culture. It's due to the fact that everything that's going on, that people are waking up or staying woke. I think it's a form of empowerment, not only for the old school, but the new school, for those that are actually awoke and listening to what's going on. Because during this time, I could say during this whole time, unfortunately, through all the tragedy that we had to experience over this last year, I've become a little more knowledgeable of what's going on in past histories than I've been before, because a lot of these things were opened up. Like, it was almost like a lot of this stuff was in the vault, and then somebody had to go break the chain and open it up. It was like a Pandora's box, but it was in a good way, where it opened up a lot of things that made me understand why some of the old school people are frustrated to act the way they do. I was like, why are you so angry? My uncle used to be pro this, pro black this. I'm like, why are you so angry? Now, if you experience some of that stuff or heard some of that stuff, been close to it, I can understand why. So Juneteenth is more of a celebration, but I don't want people to overlook that we still have a long way to go, and I just don't let this be a passive, something that pacifies us to calm them down, because once the wave, right now we're still on that wave, but once that wave, settles, then what?
Mhm.
What's the next step? Steph?
Well, I'll tell you, it was actually emotional for me. I actually watched the bill signing, and it was impressive to see the first Black vice president, get up there, and she led the way when it came to the first portion of the speech. And then she directed our attention to a lady who's 94 years old. I want to say her name was Lee, I think was her last name. It may be incorrect. Anyway, she has been on the forefront, this lady, 94 years old, on the forefront of getting Juneteenth passed. She experienced in 1939 her house being burned down because they were pushing towards to have Juneteenth celebrated, and she was not deterred, and she was honored by the president, for her courageous acts and kind of pushing this, and it was great to see her get her flowers, but also all the congressmen that participated, the CBC, the NAACP, those type of organizations, they got their flowers, and the president said this was probably or maybe the biggest highlight of his career, by signing this law today. And the man has been in politics for 40 years. So, it's important. It's long overdue, no question about it. Now, Congress, you've shown that you can do something bipartisan. Now it's time to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. It's time to pass Civil Rights Act, and it's sure as hell time to pass the Anti-Lynching Act. I mean, gee, Merry Christmas.
How about that?
Why we can't get that passed? Really smells of the Ku Klux Klan to me. But that's just me.
All
So,
right.
there are many, many more things that need to be done, but this is a first step, and I plan on grilling sometime tomorrow or Saturday on behalf of Juneteenth.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is like, how do we celebrate Juneteenth? You know what I mean? I know MLK is widely considered a day of service, not a day
Right.
off, but a day on. Folks are getting out, they're volunteering in the community, things, of course, of that nature. Now with Juneteenth, in terms of what it represents, does that mean we can finally get some rest? I mean, what's up? Well, how are we celebrating this?
For me, I think I'm gonna, with these new age childrens that I deal with, they could care less. YouTube is more important to them than anything. I always push the envelope and try to bring it up at dinner where I got them when they can't go anywhere for the next 7 to 10 minutes. But to let them know how important it is, and whether it sinks in or not, they've been told, and it's got out of my system that I let you know that this is an important day for me. And I told my daughter, she had a soccer game. My daddy, you come to my soccer game? I said, I might not. Who knows? You know what I mean? Why? No, let me stop. But I'm going to the game. But I think it's very important that as fathers, we let our kids know what. I don't care how old they are. I'm going to call my son up later and say, hey, man, you passed that law. Did you hear about it? No, daddy. I'm like, where the hell you been? You know what I mean? So I think it's just our job just to pass it on, to the fam and let them know what's going on.
Yeah. Part of our culture that we've lost is storytelling and passing on the stories of our ancestors and things like that. So for me, I'll be using it as a teachable moment. I asked my son, who's going off to college shortly, I asked him the other day, son, do you know the Negro National Anthem? And he looked at me like I had two heads, and he said no. And in that moment, I realized I had failed.
No.
To me, because when I was, by the time I was 7 years old, I knew how to play the Negro National Anthem on the piano. My mother made sure that those stories were passed on to us, and of course, it was a different time. and we were doing different things back then. But it seems to me that this newer generation is just kind of lost on the basics, if you will. So to me, I'll be using Juneteenth as a teachable moment to, sit down with my son, my kids, and pick their brains, find out what they know about it, and try to relearn what I've forgotten. And to me, that's how you honor the day, you celebrate the day, you celebrate your ancestors by passing that knowledge on to keep it going. But not only that, to make sure that they get the accurate and real story, the real representation of Juneteenth, and not because now it's a national holiday. So anytime something becomes national and other folks that don't look like us get their hands in it, things get convoluted and stories get changed and things. So to me, it's important for us to keep these stories going and to ensure that the next generation knows where they came from.
Right. Let me just say this. We have a long way to go yet, and that's been recognized on this podcast. But it feels like we're somewhat turning the corner. We do have a new administration. We voted out 45. We have a sister in office as the VP from an HBCU. There's been all this outpouring in support of the recognition and the anniversary of the Tulsa Black Wall Street event. Now we have the passage of this law, which was lightning quick. I mean, I walked into this week thinking I had a 5-day work week, and all of a sudden it's a 4-day week. I'm like amazed at how quickly they signed this bill into law. Be it granted, it's been out there for quite some time. Folks have been pushing this law for years, and we of course recognize that this would never have passed under 45's watch. That just would not. I mean, we can't even get the daggone Tubman, $20 bills out in the circulation.
Right.
That was delayed. We couldn't even get Obama's picture placed up in the White House because of 45. So obviously, we still have a long ways to go yet, but it just feels a little different that things are at least progressing in the right direction. Moreover, what was lost in the Juneteenth announcement is the fact that the Supreme Court upheld Obamacare, the challenge to that. And we're talking about a situation where there was an attempt to stack the court with conservative judges, yet those same conservative judges voted in favor of Obamacare by the tune of 7-2. Yeah. So to me, again, these are all very positive things, although we have a long way to go.
No doubt.
But guys, let's transition into what we're here to talk about, and that is Father's Day. Father's Day is coming up on Sunday.
Yes,
now,
sir.
There was a father that actually made headlines last week with his antics, via social media. This dude took pettiness to a whole nother level. I mean, his pettiness was like, immaculate, the level of pettiness that this guy took it to. For those of you that aren't aware, this dude, a father in the state of Virginia, paid his last child support payment in pennies to the tune of 80,000 pennies that he dumped in front of his ex's house.
Isn't that crazy?
Now, if that's not pettiness, I don't know what is. Come on, man. What'd you guys think when you saw that story?
He's a king of petty.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed off. As a man that has paid child support for quite a few years, it's for the child. I don't care about the spouse. It's for the child. The court mandates that you pay it, then you just have to pay it or try to get it adjusted. And I mean, to dump 800,000 pennies, the
80,000.
80,000, thank you. The equivalent of $800. He went out and bought a dump truck, basically, or a heavy duty F-150. And he dumped them in front of his daughter's house, as well as his ex-wife's house. the embarrassment that she had to go through to see all these darn pennies out here. And I don't care how mad you are at the ex-spouse, you should never do that to your daughter. So I was kind of disgusted with it.
I was gonna say that says to me that he has no relationship with his daughter.
Right.
Because to do that, I mean, obviously it was petty, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm co-signing his pettiness. He is the king petty. But yeah, I'm with Stefan on this. It made me angry. If you and mama don't get along, that's y'all are grown. You're adults. And I'm certain that the daughter is at least 18 plus now or whatever. But to disrespect your child like that, like Stefan said, it's the embarrassment. And take the mother out of this. I'm only focusing on the child. No matter how you feel about the relationship, the mother, she is the innocent victim. She did not ask to be here, right? So to do that, to me, that wasn't. He was a punk. He was a punk. He was a coward. It was the height. It was the pettiest thing you can do. He wins on that front.
Yes,
but
he
on
does.
the other front, he's a punk.
Yeah.
He's a punk, man.
What about you, Mike? Go ahead, jump in here, sir.
I would say, man, I don't think I would have done it because, like you guys are saying, when you deal with child support, it's for the best interest of the child. But unfortunately, the antics of the parents get in the way, and the child gets moved to the wayside, and the parents are the one that go back and forth. I don't know what she did to him. I don't know what he did to her, but I would have just been happy to have my last payment. Now, all that extra he went through just to do that, I think he played himself. Do I understand his frustration? If they didn't get along and they had issues, yes. Would I have done that? No. But at some point, you do, when you get brought to the brink, whether you're right or whether they're wrong or whatever, your mind tends to have you do, dumb things. And I think that he was probably one of them dudes that after he dumped it, he was like, oh, damn. You know how the last penny, you like, how stupid is this? I actually went and made sure, hey, all that time he took to get the pennies and everything else, he could have probably picked his daughter up and took her out to dinner. They could have got some ice cream, something.
But
you made sure that you broke it down. I need 80,000 pennies exact. all that planning he did, I think that was the time used best to spend time with his daughter.
Yeah.
So I'm looking real quick, and it is, like I said, they were estranged. So in other words, he wasn't necessarily in his daughter's life. He honored his commitment by paying the child support, whatever. And then that last payment, he just said, screw everybody.
Well, that's certainly not going to help anything in terms of his relationship with his daughter.
No, not at all. And I don't think they have a relationship. Now, the good thing that came out of it was she took that money, that last payment, and she donated it to a, let's see,
battered women's shelter.
Domestic abuse shelter, yes. So some good came out of it. But in this media age, this social media age, he thought he was going to score some dad points or whatever points, and hey, this is what I did to my ex-wife or whatever. But instead, this thing is blown up. It's gone viral. The daughter and the mother look like the heroes. They come out smelling like a rose. And this dude is looking like he lives in the toilet. So, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And this reaction, he's screwed.
And also, they were able to establish a GoFundMe, and they raised over $45,000 that is going towards the shelter, which they said the shelter needed the money. I mean, they live off for donations. So
there was a reason for everything.
Yep, that's good
Everything
stuff.
has a reason. Yeah.
Yep. Well, very well said, guys. Appreciate your contribution to that topic. Now we're going to transition into our main topic for this evening, which is Father's Day and fatherhood. And if you all are just tuning in, you are viewing or listening to the Just Be a Man podcast, where we offer commentary from a man's perspective. Now, guys, what does Father's Day mean to you?
Burgers on the grill. Meaning your black ass gets up and you cook the burgers on Father's Day. You eat the burgers, and everybody says Happy Father's Day.
So you're cooking your own food?
You cooking your own damn food.
All right.
No, look, I'm saying that on my side, my family, they go overboard. But I mean, the stories you've all heard them. It's the tie for Father's Day, the whitey tidy underwear for Father's Day, the cooking on the grill, the hamburger, and then the passing out and falling asleep on the couch. But my Father's Day, actually, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pretty good. My wife and my kids, they're pretty decent. They're pretty cool. So I look forward to Father's Day around here.
Yeah. Let me jump in next, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this year is especially meaningful for me because you all know, being my brothers, that my father has been going through some stuff medically.
Right.
And so it just puts a whole different spin on Father's Day, what it means, things of that nature. So, for me personally,
Right.
it feels great to be able to continue to love on him.
Yeah.
And to just, just to celebrate the man he is and what he's meant in my life. But above and beyond that, for me as well, for me to experience Father's Day with my kids. And granted, it's not the big shebang that the mothers get. It isn't, but it still feels good for your family to love on you, to express to you things that they may not necessarily express at other times of the year. Yeah, Father's Day is my day. Sunday is going to be my day, and that to me, it feels good. It still feels meaningful. So that's where I'm at with it. How about you guys, Steph, Mike?
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I mean, I think that we get acknowledged, for what we do. It's a little more sentimental because they actually have to write their feelings down on a card that they usually don't say every day. They say I love you every day, whatever. But I like to look at the card to actually see what kind of thought they put into it. And believe it or not, Father's Day is when you think that your kids don't pay attention to you or they don't see what you're doing or what you do, it comes out on Father's Day. I can see it in the card. Dad, dear Dad, thank you for being funny. Thank you for being who you are, telling us stories we don't want to hear. They put all that in the card, but I like it. But it's true. It's true. Dad trapping us at the table. But what I'm saying is that they're saying, listen, this is what you do. We know who you are. Do you yell a lot? More than usual? Yes. But do you love us? We know you love us. And I think they know how to take me in stride. So every year, that's their way of saying, I love you and we understand you. So that's good enough for me. But I make sure this Sunday, I ain't doing jack.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me, my man Modelo, and my boy Don Julio.
So wait a minute. So Father's Day is Sunday, right? So the criteria is we're not doing nothing.
Man, all I can
I'm asking. I'm asking because I ain't doing shit right now. I've already started. If that's the case.
You know what's gonna happen.
What's that?
I bought the stuff. You think you can get it started? I'm like, come on, man. Once we started, we gotta finish it.
Can you light the fire for me? Right.
Yeah, light the fire, put it on. Dad, how does it look? Does it look done? I'm like, you know what, man? Just back up. Let me do my thing. So, no, honestly, am I gonna chill Sunday? Unless they decide to make something for me, I think they'll do breakfast. But I know I'm gonna be hit with the dinner. I call it dinner, lunch and dinner mix.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, for me, for Father's Day, just like you, Charles, I'm blessed to have my father, who was going through some kidney issues about 10 years ago. We probably should have lost him, but through the grace of God, he's still here, and he's actually looking a lot better. He's getting better.
Right.
And he's 79 years old. And last night, we went out to dinner, and as a family because my oldest daughter was in town. She just left this morning. And I looked at my father and I saw my grandmother, his mother, in him,
Mhm.
and some of his mannerisms as well as her mannerisms. And I thought, man, that's a blessing, to have him here this long, this healthy, and this wise. And he loves up on his family as well as his granddaughters. Granddaughters mean the world to him, probably much more than his own kids. But and that's normal.
Mhm.
But Father's Day is important. And do I plan on doing stuff? Well, I got voluntold that we got 2 orders to go to different things. So next year there ain't gonna be no damn orders. I know that you're gonna have to figure something out because we ain't doing a darn thing when it comes to orders for Father's Day. I don't
So you
care.
got the honeydew list going on.
Yeah, kind of
Okay.
sort of got the honeydew, but then I got the old. Well, we can go out to eat, and while we're out at this location,
Mhm.
I know, no. I know we can go out to eat, but I don't feel like fighting crowds. Maybe you could grill, but anyway, it's all good.
Yeah.
But Father's Day does mean a lot to me, especially because my girls are not here all the time. So just to have the oldest here for a week was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And it kind of renewed my charge just to hear her say, "Daddy." I
Mhm.
don't, and she's a grown woman, but she still says "Daddy," and ask questions, and it's just
She got you wrapped around that finger, bro.
Yes, sir.
yeah. Both of them do,
Yeah,
but
no
I
doubt.
mean, but they're worth it.
Yeah. So tell me what's the best part of being a father or dad? The best
Mm.
part.
Okay, I'll jump in there first.
Go ahead, sir.
When they acknowledge your existence and they
Mm.
say you were right.
Mhm.
I'm glad I got the advice from you and I put it into action and I see what you're saying. And it worked or it didn't work. And
Mhm.
I didn't listen to you and I should have because you're only going to try to give me the best. I think that's the best reward.
Mhm.
And also once they get off your dime, that's also
Oh
a
yeah.
great reward.
I
Yeah.
want to piggyback on what Stefan said because I think that's important. I think he's 100% right. The other thing for me is when you hear them speaking or they're talking to someone else, talking about your children, they're talking to someone else, and then you hear them say or regurgitate something that you've taught them.
Hmm.
And you're just so filled with pride because without saying it, that's you coming out in them. You
Mhm.
see it, but you know there's a point where you just stop and you say they got it.
Hmm.
They got it. They listened.
Yeah.
And so the things we either taught them consciously or subconsciously, however they got it,
Mhm.
because of what I did, me and my wife, because of our teaching, because of talking to them, to hear them as young adults now on their own and having conversation with their peers, and to hear your wisdom come out of their mouth.
That's a
I
beautiful
mean,
thing. Doesn't get much better than that.
yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Mike? The best thing
Uh,
about being a dad?
I think the best thing, like they said, is the acknowledgement of, sometimes we in this busy day and age, sometimes we feel we don't get acknowledged, but we do. But I
Mhm.
think those little times, like, where, the hugs in the morning. I always believe in saying good morning. We hug in the morning. You know what I mean? We say good night. Sometimes they don't have to. Mickey might come touch my, tap me on my leg, but Rosie will come lean on me. Those things mean a lot to me when they say good night because I know sooner or later they're gonna be like good night, slam the door pretty soon. I ain't gonna worry about it. So I'm loving up on that when she come lay on me like good night, or she, we joke around and we do little dad girl, daughter punches to each other and do different things. But there was one time where we were downstairs and I called myself, trying to teach her how to box. Now, Chuck, don't you say nothing. But I taught her this move, where I said if somebody throw the jab, you duck, and then you hit him in the, you hit him in the solar plexus or whatever, and you know, she got it. Like after about 10 times, I'm trying to throw a punch. She ducked it and she boom. And, you know, and she finally got it. I'm like, my baby was listening to me. And then she started doing it. And then she started doing it to everybody in the house. You know, I come over, hey y'all, how you doing? I'm like, damn. I said, I'm just showing you what my move. And she did it on her friends. I was just cracking up, man. She just went haywire with it. But I just thought it was cute that she really thought that was important for her to know that move. Like if somebody throw a punch, she ducked and hit him in the ribs or the solar plexus. And she was very proud of that. So I got a kick out of that. So things like that, like you said, they pay attention when you think they're not paying attention. I think it's big.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. I mean, I think the best part for me is just helping to mold and shape the character of this individual,
Right.
and watching them come into their own. That to me is just fantastic. And then the confirmation is when you get the feedback unsolicited from other people about your child, you know, how great they are, their character, or you know, how well behaved, and all of that type stuff, man. And
you swear they lying.
And you swear they lying.
You swear they lying. You ain't talking about my kid.
Absolutely, man. And but I've engaged with all of your children, and I just see the fact that you all have just raised some excellent young men and women. I mean, I've seen it, man, and it's really a testament to what you guys are bringing to the table in terms of fatherhood. And we know that there are a lot of brothers out here that are not doing what they're supposed to do. And there are a lot of brothers out here that are trying their best, and they just simply aren't getting a good rap.
Right.
And I've seen so many great dads out here, man. It does me so much good to see fathers out there. I saw some dude the other day in the parking lot, arms folded, while his child was driving around. He was teaching them how to drive. And to me, I mean, I felt pride in that, because there's a brother that I see that is doing right by his child. And he's in that teaching mode. He's trying to, you know, raise them up in a positive way. And I just think sometimes, especially for Black men, the fatherhood thing is sometimes just there's a negative connotation associated with it.
We get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, one of the best things that ever happened to me was about 6 months ago. I'm at my mother and father's house, and my mom just talking to me. She said, "You know something, Stefan? You are a great dad, and you have been a great dad. Damn it! If I didn't want to have a man too, but I had to be strong." In front of
right.
He cried in the car though.
Yeah.
He did. Man, I barely made it to the car. But anyway, you know, and that's when you get acknowledged for being a great dad. I think that's the best reward. Or your kid says, you know, Dad, I really love you and thank you for what you've done for me. I think that's the best reward ever.
It is.
And then get off my dime.
Right.
You don't mind, you know, spending. But Charles, please share your story about millenniums and car time.
Just this week, my son, 23 years old, not Bill Fair. He had 5 other 23-year-olds with him, or they're around all the same age. They graduated from high school together. They decided to come hang out at the house. Unfortunately, one of the young men had a flat tire directly in front of my house.
Oh, damn.
So I'm just chilling. I'm thinking they're going to be out back having a good time, enjoying themselves. I am laying down watching the news. Suddenly, I get this call like, "We need your help. We need your wisdom." And I'm walking out the door and I'm like, I see 6 23-year-olds, and none of those dudes know how to change a tire, bro. Not one.
And nobody had AAA, y'all?
Oh my God. But the thing was, I was like, we as parents, I as a parent have failed.
They couldn't YouTube it?
You would think with all the technology, that would be the easiest thing to do in the world, but they could not figure it out to save their lives, bro.
Wow.
I clown those dudes left and right, bro.
I know you
And
did.
And you know what the scary thing is that if those dudes wanted to learn, or even if they didn't, you would think somebody would have enough to have AAA or something on them. So what would they did if they was in front of your house? They was on the
Man.
side of the road.
They'd call their parents.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
They'd
Yeah.
call their damn parents.
Yeah,
And the
that
parents would
was
have to call
hilarious.
AAA. You know,
But I
I
know
would,
we're winding down a little bit. Before we
Yeah.
wind completely down, we've talked about the greatest part of being a father, but we know, especially as Black men, that fatherhood has its share of challenges. And so let's talk a little bit about that. What's been the most challenging aspect of fatherhood to you guys?
Trying to keep my Black son safe
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
in this climate, in this environment. Sitting with him, giving him the education, the talk.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that he understands the talk.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's going off to college. So he's going out of state. So I don't know how those folks act in that particular state. So unfortunately, you have to govern yourself accordingly. Just it's terrible that in 2021 we're still doing this. But to me, that's the hardest part of being a parent, is worrying about some shit that you shouldn't have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Just going out to your mailbox and things like that, and just being harassed because your skin color is different. So for me, my biggest challenge mentally is my son. I've had the same issues, of course, with my daughters. My daughters are older than my son. Um, but I think we've raised pretty good kids. They got their heads squarely on their shoulders. They know right from wrong, which is the important things. They're God fearing, they're dad fearing, and mom fearing.
Especially mom
So
fearing.
yeah.
Oh, but
So
dad was some ass too. Yeah, I know about some situations with Chuck and his kids.
but I think they're really well-rounded kids. But again, it doesn't matter what we do on our end, unfortunately, as Black parents, to prepare our children to go out into the world. It's what happens when they're away from us and they're out there and they're trying to govern themselves accordingly, and they're on constantly on defense. So that's what's challenging for me, the mental part of it, trying to make sure that he his mental health is intact also, because that's a lot to put on a young kid. Hey, you got to govern yourself accordingly. Hey, you can't go here. Hey, you can't wear a hoodie here. You can't, you know what I mean? And for them to come to their realization so early that you can't do the same shit that people that don't look like you can do. But I mean, that's not it for me. I mean, I think this is a multi-layered topic, but in height of importance, it's always life. So for me, it's the protection of my kids, but more importantly, right now, the safety of my young Black son.
How about you, Mike? I know you've been dealing with some unique challenges over the years as it relates to fatherhood.
Yeah, I think for me, running dual households, not dual household, but being a dual father, at one place and trying to be a father long distance, that's been really tough, especially when you have one side where you have kids in a different different location, and things happen differently, than and in another location. So just say, for instance, with my son, even my oldest boy, my finger's not on the pulse. I have a hard time with that, not knowing what's going on with him. How's he doing? How's he feeling? Is he happy? Is he sad? If he's been depressed, whatever. I don't get that access to that. And I think it's been pretty hard to do over these last years. Just trying to figure out where he's coming from. And you don't really get that sense because you really haven't been able to establish what there's a feeling that you got it. We're cool. We're good. But I always have to question it, even though he says we are. Sometimes I feel like we're not. And it bothers me sometimes because I'm there. I'm saying I'm there for you. What do you need? Nothing. I'm fine. Nothing. There's got to be something. What kid doesn't need anything? You got fathers who don't want to give the kids anything. I'm trying to get this man the world, or let him know, listen, I'm here for you, and he won't do it. And I feel that's somewhat of the um he's not attached like I thought he would be, or like I thought he should be. But people are saying that, as long as they're saying he's loving you, he loves you, and you guys have a good conversation when you talk, that alone, says enough right there. And I think that was one of my biggest worries, just trying to keep a balance. Like, okay, I got these kids over here. I'm worried about them because they're in Thinktopia. But then I got my other son. He's a distance away, and I got to worry about him in the street being protected and not getting in trouble or getting hurt from someone. So I think the biggest thing is worrying, making sure your kids are okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's big, real big. Let me just ask you another question, Mike, while we're on that topic. Has there ever been any issues between the children, the ones that live in your house and the one that doesn't? Like, is there any jealousy or anything like that props up?
No, I think there's some longing
Mm-hmm.
to have their big brother around. And sometimes, the sad part is that they want him around so much, but he hasn't been around. And as they got older, they've missed him. I think they miss him, but it seems like their wanting to see him is less and less because they're growing and they're turning into their own people, their own persons, and they're not connected as much as I think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But they have their relationship where they don't see each other for a while, just like our relationship with you guys. My relationship with you guys, I don't see you for a while, but we get together and we start where we left off at. So I think that's all I can hope for,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So Steph, you've of course had some unique challenges as well. So talk to us a little bit about those.
Real quickly, my biggest challenge, because I have to say I've been blessed. My biggest challenge is distance.
Mm-hmm.
My girl's almost 4,000 miles away on another continent. So, I had to make sure I made a concerted effort to talk to them at least once a week when they were younger. And now with modern technology, I can text, phone, video, all for free. At one time, it cost to do any of those type of things, but now, I can reach out to them. The other challenge, I guess, for me is just the fact that they've gotten older on me. They've gone, they've left, they both have left the nest, and I'm at the point of what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go? So, that hasn't happened to most of the guys here on the podcast, but that's a challenge for the future. We all boast and brag and say, well, I can't wait till these kids leave. And then we're looking around like, damn, it's quiet in this house.
Yeah.
So that's the other challenge I've had.
Yeah. For me, I'm not going to identify this particular child, but she is the one. Boy, I tell you, she's been a challenge, and a lot of it is the outside noise. This particular child tends to be somewhat of a follower, and it presents a unique challenge because you're competing against so many outside influences. You're competing against the information that they're getting online. You're competing definitely against their friends, and their friends, her friends are just as dumb as she is. and so, it's like, they're listening to each other, and some of the crap that comes, oh my God, some of the crap that comes out of their mouth. This is a true conversation. The other day, my wife is talking to one of my unidentified child's friends. So she's talking to her friend, and the whole conversation had to be was about being on time.
Okay.
Because this child and my unidentified child, they have this issue, this challenge with being on time, right? And their friends have to almost con them into being on time. They will give them, like if they need to be somewhere at 6 o'clock, they'll tell them they need to be there at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So they will perhaps be there on time. But this is a situation where my wife is coaching this individual and trying to say, hey, look, it's important for you to be on time, consideration to others, things of that, stuff like that, right? So this young lady says to my wife, well, time is made up by man. That was her explanation as to why she struggles with being on time and why she doesn't take time seriously.
Was she high?
Man, that's what I thought. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, I'm listening to this because it's on speakerphone. And I said, well, isn't that cell phone she talking on made by man? Yeah. Isn't that toothbrush she's about to put in her mouth? Isn't that car that she dropped? All these things are man-made, but for whatever reason, you don't take time seriously. And it was just, and this is one of the primary folks that my unidentified child is listening to. This is her best friend. So to me, those type influences, they just drive me crazy. And that is one of the challenges, one of the primary challenges I would put on the table. That just drives me bananas.
Outside influences.
Yeah, outside influences, man. It's
And I tell you, one of the best lessons I learned at Morgan State University was we had a professor that if you were 10 minutes late, he was going to lock the door. Therefore, you're not getting in the class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That would teach you.
That's what's up.
Because the last thing you want to do is fail that class because you can't get in.
Right.
But he was willing to make you fail because you had the audacity to be late. Now, he understood if your car broke down. Most of us were freshmen. We lived on campus. So don't try it.
Worked for me. My mother locked me out the house.
Oh,
it worked for me. She told me to be home like 10 o'clock. I came home at like 11:30.
Oh, yeah.
Doors were locked. I'm knocking on the door. She came to the door. my mother was gangster. She came to the door. She said, hey, baby. You want to open the door? No. What time you got? No, I don't know. So look, I got a pillow in the lawn chair out the back for you.
Mama didn't play.
I was like, are you? She was as a heart attack. I'll see you in the morning. Now, I went out there. I mean, look, now this was. I'm sorry. Caveat. And no, you can't stay at your friend's house. God damn it. You home now?
Oh,
no, you can't stay.
Yeah, you
can't stay at your friend's house.
Punishment. Yeah, that's right.
Take your ass in the back. So I did. I went in the back. I hung out back there for like 2 hours. She came out. She got me. But she, as like mamas do, she said, look here. She said, I'm gonna let you in the house because the law says I have to.
Hey, so I know the mosquitoes lick your ass up out there.
They did.
I really don't remember. Yeah. And we had a pool, and mosquitoes were a beast back then. But yeah, she let me in, but she let me know in no uncertain terms. If I tell your ass to be home by a certain time, that's what time you're supposed to be here. And I was raised by a single mother, single parent. She didn't play. She didn't spoil. She didn't spare the rod. And she let me know in no uncertain terms. Your father's not around, but I am. You're going to listen to me, and you're going to, hey, I was supposed to be home at 10 o'clock. After that, I was home at 9:45, 9:50. I don't think I ever came home past like 9:55.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. Absolutely. But guys, we have to wrap this thing up and pretty quickly, I might add. Instead of having a drop the mic tonight, I wanted to ask you all this final question, and that is to tell me the most important thing, or one of the most important things that you learned from either your father or the father figure in your life, good, bad, or indifferent, because we all know that there's lessons to be learned even in bad behavior. It's what not to do. So talk to me about that lesson that you have taken forward throughout your life with regards to the lessons that you got from your father or father figure. So Mike, why don't we start with you?
I would just say I got it from my you know, there's a whole dynamic to my life, but I would say with my mom being a single parent, you know, there's gonna be good days and there's gonna be bad days.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is you just got to keep going no matter what, and I think that's what she did as a single parent to raise my brother and I.
That's what's up. Steph?
Let me go in. One thing I learned, one most important things I learned was integrity.
Mhm.
Once you lose it, it's gone forever. So in other words, even if it hurts and you made a mistake, admit to a mistake, don't lie about it. Because once you lie to someone or once you lose the integrity, it's gone potentially for life.
Yes, indeed. Chuck? Chuck, you on mute, bro.
Sorry, too many to name. One is the only person standing in your way is you.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me many years to understand what that meant. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But it just took me so long to understand it. It's not my job to change your mind. It's not my job. It's not my responsibility to change your mind. The only thing I'm responsible for is me, my actions, and so and it's a lot of little things like that. So, and when you go through life, those little sayings just come back to you and you just, act accordingly. So it's a lot of little sayings like that I carry with me. I can't just necessarily spit them out to you, but,
Mm-hmm.
and then those lessons, they come from, my parents divorced early on. So I was raised by a village, different people on my street. So I got influence from different people. But if I had to pick one, I would pick the one, get out of your own way. The only
Mhm.
person that can really stop you is you.
Yeah. I would say one of the most important lessons that I learned is the importance of work-life balance. And I actually learned this critical lesson from both my parents, my mother and my father, because I could literally count on two fingers the amount of events that they may have missed over the years that were important. And because their presence, they were there, they did not put their jobs or their work responsibilities above their family. They made it a point to be there for us so that we felt their parents, and I mean felt their presence, I should say. And that was just something that I've taken with me, and I just make sure that I'm there for my kids, because the reality is, if any of us passes away tomorrow, it's only a matter of time before our jobs forget that we were even there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But when it comes to the impact on your family, it is immeasurable. So that's my key takeaway. Well, guys, I just want to thank our audience for spending some time with us this evening on the Just Be a Man podcast. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And we just ask that you, again, check out our social media, subscribe, like, share. If you like what you hear, let other people know about it. And again, check us out on our various social media platforms. With that said, I just bid you farewell until we meet again. And Mike?
Deuces.